My name is Isabel. I'm a digital producer and I make $78,000 a year working at NBC. This Is Us, The Good Place, New Amsterdam, a ton of reality shows like The Titan Games, The Voice, America's Got Talent. I kind of work with like all of the shows at this point. I think it's so cool to actually be able to like see stuff that like I made and be like, that's me. Like I did that. And just like I love that part of being a digital producer, like actually being able to say like that's my work. Like I made that. There's a reason they pay me what they do. And I'm like the lowest amount of pay. Like the longer that I'm there, I get to increase my salary like every single year. And then crazy part is whenever I decide to like move to Disney, like I'll be able to say like I am worth this much, like you should pay me this much. And it's not going to be something where they say like, oh well, we don't know. It'll be, oh, you have that experience, heck yes, we'll pay you whatever you wanted. When I graduated, I was really frustrated because I didn't have a job. I didn't have any job offers. I mean, my parents lived sort of near New York City, so I was like, oh well, like maybe I can find some way to work there because then I could maybe live with them for a bit. And I was applying for everything I could find, like everything on like major networks. I was looking at the theaters, like just trying to find something to do. And I literally got nothing, like 100% nothing. I was applying, I was trying to reach out to any possible contact I could. And my problem was that I had no family or friends in the industry. I didn't know a single person who worked in film or television. My parents didn't, my friends didn't. Like they were all like in medicine and that was like their thing. I actually happened to stumble upon Friends in Film just a few months after I graduated college. So I was like really excited because I was like, this actually like it makes sense. I like how Janet is like wrapping this all up together. I like the idea of kind of having someone to help me along a bit as I'm kind of just floating out here in confusion. So after I found Friends in Film, I actually started following the modules like very carefully. I would do all of the calls, make sure that I could see Janet, see everybody, ask a bunch of questions. I'd basically been in Friends in Film for about a month and, trying to follow as much as I could from the modules. I ended up moving kind of quickly. And part of it is, I live in New York City. So there's a lot happening here. And I actually started working with a production crew that made stuff for CNN. And I remember the night that they called me and were like, what sort of experience do you have and stuff like that. Like, well, we're like a little busy, but we'll call you back in like an hour. And I was like a little bit panicking. And I actually reached out to Janet and I was like, what do I do? Like, I have some experience, but like, what do I do? And she kind of helped me figure out the talking points that I should focus on. And it worked really well. I mean, they put me on their set and I've actually worked with CNN on 4 different shows now. And I mean, they were really fun. I got to meet a ton of people who had been working in the industry like forever. And it was really cool to be able to like ask them questions. And then all of a sudden, now that I had like a more prominent, company on my resume, I started getting even more calls from various people all over the place. And I started working on like network shows. And all of a sudden I was like, whoa, like I'm actually like a true person working in this industry. And I mean, if you think of the fact that maybe 3 months before I was a college grad that had no idea what to do. And I was just sort of like getting kind of like panicked. Like, do I go back to school for like an advanced degree or like, what do? I have no options. So I was definitely really happy that I stumbled across Fifth. I think that the way that I got from where I was starting to where I am now is just using methods that I learned through Friends in Film. These weren't things that I was learning in school. When I started Friends in Film, I didn't really have like an idea of where I wanted to work in the industry. I knew that I wanted to be there. I wanted to be a part of making movies and a part of making TV, but I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. So as I was on set and I was asking questions to everybody, at first I was like, well, everything seems awesome. Like, I just want to do everything. But like, obviously, like sometimes you kind of start, I started like, oh, actually like the camera department is like really fun. I like those groups of people. I really like learning how they're doing it. So I actually started out thinking, oh, I'm going to be a DP. Like I'm going to, be a first AC. I'm going to start working in the camera department. And I actually worked as a camera PA for a while too. And after a while, I was like, well, actually, maybe I want to do producing more. Like they seem like they're doing some interesting stuff. Even when I was working as a camera PA, I would still go ask questions to other people. And one of the things that I noticed is the more I was working on set, I started seeing a lot of the same PAs. I started really recognizing these people, and I would talk with them sometimes, and sometimes they would seem really frustrated because they're like, well, I've been, working as a PA for 3 years now, and I want to be moving up to like the ACs. I want to start being a second AC. I want to become a DP. That's my end goal. But I'm kind of just stuck here working as a PA. And I think part of the reason that they felt so trapped there is because they didn't really know what to do to break out of that. Part of what Friends in Film does is it starts giving you a step-by-step way to move forward, something active that you can do. It's not just sitting there like dreaming about, oh, one day I will become great. Like, no, I'm going to become great soon because I'm going to keep moving forward with every step. Oh, I'm going to do this thing that I learned in module 2. Oh, module 3. Oh, I know something that I can move forward with that. And then I think it really makes you become a better PA and makes people in whatever department that you want to work in want to work with you, and they'll start basically pulling you away from being a PA. Like, oh, no, no, no. I want you as my second AC. No, I want you as my makeup assistant. Like, no, don't be a PA. I want you in here. I want you to start. And for me, part of what that was the producers would do that to me because I was bonding so much with them, and as I every single different set that I worked on, I was learning and gaining so much extra knowledge that when I would go to a new set and I would, talk with the producers, they're like, "Oh, well, you know what you're doing. Like, heck yes, come over here." And after I learned more about what producers were doing, I kind of decided like, "Oh, actually, that's the thing that I want to do. That's the thing that I find really interesting." And so I started using all of my on-set experience to get into a position where I could have more of that producer-like job. And so I actually used my on-set experience to get me my first role at AMC Networks. And I had actually asked them a while later, like, why did you, of all the people that you could possibly pick, like, why did you pick me? I'm curious. And they actually said, the reason we brought you in is because you had that on-set experience. We knew that you understood the nitty-gritty of TV and movies. Like, and the crazy part for me was when I got the interview at AMC Networks, they brought me in. I interviewed with 3 people, and within an hour after leaving the building, they called me and offered me the job. They had been interviewing people for like 3 weeks, and they were getting really frustrated because they hadn't found someone that they wanted. And they literally called me the same day because they knew that I had the sort of experience that they were actually looking for.